The day began like any other in Port Charles, but within the courthouse walls, tensions simmered beneath the surface. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, family members, and longtime enemies gathered as the high-profile custody battle between Michael Corinthos and Willow Tate continued to unravel. The tension in the air was suffocating. Diane Miller, Michael's attorney, presented damning evidence of Willow's erratic behavior over the past few months: missed therapy sessions, emotional outbursts, and that untraceable $250,000 withdrawal from her personal account. But Willow's attorney, Martin Gray, fired back just as aggressively, accusing Michael of manipulation, control, and using Carly's influence to paint Willow as an unfit mother. Just when it seemed the hearing would stretch into another fruitless day, Assistant District Attorney Sidwell unexpectedly stood and requested to speak, not as a prosecutor, but as a witness. Gasps rippled across the room. Judge Harmon reluctantly allowed it. Sidwell's eyes flickered toward the Corinthos and Tate families before his voice cracked through the courtroom like thunder. "I can't keep this secret anymore. I bribed Judge Harmon to sway custody in Michael's favor." Chaos erupted. Gasps, shouting, and reporters scrambling for their phones filled the room. Judge Harmon pounded his gavel, his face ghostly pale. Outside the courtroom, Nina Reeves staggered into a bench, gripping a rosary. Carly stood frozen, and Michael looked like someone had just punched him in the soul. Willow couldn't believe what she had just heard. For weeks, she felt gaslit, accused of instability, cornered with proof that never made sense. It turns out she wasn't crazy. Michael was using his power to destroy her. And now she had confirmation. She stormed out of the courtroom and straight into the blinding sun. Ava tried to stop her, but Willow's rage could not be contained. "He bribed a judge to take my children from me. My babies," she screamed. Back at the gatehouse, Wiley and Amelia were being cared for by Donna's nanny. But Willow wasn't thinking straight. All she knew was that her children weren't safe with Michael or anyone connected to him. She couldn't bear another betrayal, not after leukemia, not after Nina's lies, not after months of therapy that led her back to the same pain. So she did the unthinkable. She waited until the gatehouse was momentarily empty, the nanny on a call, the back door slightly ajar, and she took Wiley and Amelia. 2 bags, already packed in her car for emergencies, were all she needed. Within 30 minutes, Willow, Wiley, and Amelia had disappeared from Port Charles. When Michael returned to the gatehouse, he found the nanny crying and the children gone. He knew instantly. "She took them," he whispered. "She took them." Brooke Lynn ran over from the Quartermain mansion upon hearing the news. Carly arrived seconds later, followed by Dante and Chase. Chase, stricken, immediately activated an Amber Alert. "Michael, be honest, did you know about the bribe?" Michael shook his head violently.
"No."
"I would never." Sidwell acted alone. This wasn't part of any plan, but the damage had been done. With Sidwell in custody and Judge Harmon suspended pending investigation, the whole case fell apart. Willow was now considered a fugitive. And worst of all, she had Wiley and Amelia. Willow's old friend, Harmony's former contact from their cult days, had given her access to an off-the-grid safe house upstate. It was an old farmhouse nestled deep in the Adirondacks. No phone signals, no cameras, no paper trail. Wiley asked questions. "Why can't I see Daddy? Why are we hiding?" But Willow did her best to comfort him. "We're on an adventure, sweetheart. Just you, me, and Amelia." But even as she smiled, tears dripped from her chin. This wasn't a vacation. It was survival. She had always told herself she'd never be like Harmony. And yet here she was, a mother on the run, taking her children away from their family. And yet, wasn't she doing what a mother should? Protecting them from a corrupt system, from power-hungry people who saw her as nothing more than a fragile former cancer patient? Back in Port Charles, Carly confronted Nina in the Metro Court's private lounge. The two women had long been enemies, but today's events forced a dangerous new tension between them. "This is your fault," Carly spat. "If you hadn't pushed so hard for Willow to reconnect with you, she wouldn't have lost her balance." Nina, shaken by the day's events, refused to stand down. You want to blame me? What about you? You encouraged Michael to take full custody. You backed him every step of the way. Their argument grew louder, drawing the attention of hotel staff and guests. Eventually, Sonny walked in and silenced both of them. He had just returned from Puerto Rico and was stunned by what had transpired. His children and grandchildren were caught in a war zone again. Enough, he roared. If anyone's going to bring Willow and those kids back, it's me. Ava Jerome knew more than she let on. Willow had called her from a burner phone before disappearing, asking for help but refusing to say where she was going. Ava, torn between loyalty and legality, debated whether to tell anyone. On one hand, she sympathized with Willow. She had fought tooth and nail for Avery. On the other, Ava had worked too hard to reclaim her image. Helping a fugitive could cost her everything. But when Sonny came to her personally, not as an enforcer, but as a desperate grandfather, Ava cracked. She's somewhere in the Adirondacks. That's all I know. She wouldn't tell me more. Sonny didn't wait. He left with Brick and Dex immediately. 3 days later, Sonny arrived at the edge of a remote property near the Hudson River. The SUV barely made it through the muddy trail. When he stepped out, he heard Wiley's voice echoing from inside the house. "Grandpa, Sonny?" Willow appeared seconds later, holding Amelia and trembling. "Please don't take them from me." Johnny looked at her, disheveled, red-eyed, but still Willow. Still the woman who had survived so much. "I'm not here to take them. I'm here to bring you home the right way." Willow collapsed in tears. Once Sonny returned with Willow and the kids, Port Charles braced itself for another explosion, but Michael did the unthinkable. He publicly apologized. At a press conference arranged by Mayor Laura Collins, Michael admitted that while he had no part in Sidwell's bribe, he had let his desire to protect his children become obsession. "I forgot who Willow is. Not just a mother, but a fighter, a survivor, and a woman who deserves respect, not suspicion." He dropped the custody petition. "I just want her and the kids to be safe. I trust her now. I was wrong." In jail, Sidwell spilled everything. He had received anonymous cryptocurrency payments and was blackmailed into ensuring Michael won custody. The source? Valentine, it turned out, wanted Willow unstable to push Nina closer to taking control of her grandchildren's lives and break her enough to destroy Carly once and for all. Anna was horrified. She confronted Valentine, who coldly admitted to the strategy. "I didn't bribe anyone. I merely ensured the right incentives were presented." Anna slapped him and stormed out. Their romance, already fractured, was now over. Willow agreed to shared custody with Michael. The court required regular therapy sessions and supervised family integration, not because she was unfit, but because they all had to rebuild trust. Wiley started drawing pictures of a happy family, Mommy, Daddy, Grandpa Sonny, and baby Amelia at the park. Nina offered to back off completely, finally realizing that pushing too hard had consequences. Carly, in a rare moment of peace, offered to help Willow find a therapist who specialized in post-trauma maternal care. Even Sonny, who had been spiraling emotionally, found clarity in helping bring his family back together. The courthouse was quiet now. Sidwell was sentenced. Judge Harmon resigned in disgrace. Valentine fled Port Charles under a cloud of suspicion. But Willow, Wiley, and Amelia were home. One warm summer afternoon, Willow stood by the Coeur d'Alene pond, watching her children laugh as they chased ducks. Michael joined her, with 2 cups of iced tea. "You okay?" he asked softly. Willow looked at him.
"Not yet.
"But I'm getting there." And for the first time in what felt like forever, Port Charles exhaled. But in the shadows, someone else was watching. A new threat. Another trial. Because in General Hospital, peace never lasts long. Valentine's exit sets the stage for a shocking Helena Cassadine return. Brooklyn discovers a secret adoption tied to Wiley's lineage. Jason and Carly's secret mission could explode Michael's world again. And a mysterious woman arrives in Port Charles with Amelia's birthmark, but claims to be Willow's real twin sister. Stay tuned. The drama is just getting started.